You know what? Why is YouTube bullying me? I don't know. I don't know why YouTube's bullying me so bad. They don't want me to talk about TLK, apparently. Yeah, fucking Neil. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm so sorry that everything keeps fucking up. I'm just trying to stream. Hi. Alright, so where was I? Hakuna Matata. Yeah, so Simba grows up with Timon and Pumbaa singing Hakuna Matata. And, you know, years later, Simba's off doing God knows what. Timon and Pumbaa are singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And Pumbaa gets distracted by a beetle, I think it was. A dung beetle? I believe. And so, while he's doing this, he doesn't know that he's being tracked. And when he does find out, he gets hunted by a lioness. Dying. Pumbaa gets hunted down by a lioness, and Simba comes in and saves him. And Nala does her iconic pinning move. This is the move that she did when they were cubs. I didn't mention that, but that's important apparently. She does her you know, and Simba and Nala thinks that Simba, was dead all these years. And so that was a late notification. Thank you for the new sub. That won't show up on the screen for some reason because my alert box is broken. And she begs him to go back to the Pride Lands, and it's like, Scar destroyed everything with the hyenas, you gotta come back. And Simba's like, I can't go back, and all this stuff. And the Can You Feel the Love Tonight plays.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the
Anyway. Simba. Anyway, Can You Feel the Love Tonight plays, they fall in love. And then they have an argument. And as couples do, they fall in love and have arguments all the fucking time. And so Simba goes off, and Rafiki finds out that Simba's alive. And, sorry, I'm trying to recall the events in the movie. And Rafiki's all like, oh, I know you, you're Mufasa's boy. And your father's alive, I'll show him to you. So Simba runs through like this little mini jungle in the trees, following this crazy ass monkey, saying that his father's alive. And he takes him to this pool of water, and Simba's like, that's not my father, that's my reflection. And Rafiki's all like, no, look harder. So Simba looks harder, and then it forms into Mufasa. And he says, he lives in you. And soon after, Mufasa starts appearing in the clouds, and he's like, Simba, you've forgotten me. Simba's like, no, I couldn't have forgotten you. How could I? And Mufasa gives him this lecture, like, you're more than what you've become. You're my son. You're the future king. And that talk kind of low-key motivates him. Just a little bit, not enough to make him go back, but it motivates him. And Rafiki comes in again and bonks him on the head. And bonks him on the head with a staff. You need to be a girl boss, Simba, and gatekeep Scar. Yeah, Rafiki bonks him on the head and tells him that the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or learn from it. And so the second time he tries to bonk Simba on the head, Simba ducks. And that was enough. That little speech was enough to get Simba to go back. So Simba returns, and so does Nala, and Timon and Pumbaa follow him. And man, I'm trying to recall the movie. Scar calls up his mother, Sarabi. I like how I included Sarabi, but look guys, in the background, that's Rafiki. And that's Zazu. Just so you know. I don't know if my mouse got captured, but I was circling them. And so Scar calls up Simba's mother, Sarabi, and he's like bitching at her because, as one does. And so Scar gets pissed off. He smacks the shit out of Sarabi. because she said if you were half the king Mufasa was, and Scar cuts her off and bitch slaps her and it's like, I'm 10 times the king Mufasa was. And that set Simba off. Like, that set him off really bad. Bro was ready to crash out. He was so ready to crash out. And Scar's like, Mufasa, no, you're dead. And everyone thinks it's Mufasa. And Simba's like, no, it's me. It's Simba. And Scar's like, oh, Simba, it's so nice to see you alive. Chat, oh my god, you are making me fuck up everything. Anyway, so Scar starts manipulating everyone, saying that Mufasa's death was Simba's fault. And, Simba's still thinking that. He's like, yeah, it was my fault. And Scar backs Simba up to the edge of Pride Rock, and he's like, huh, this looks familiar. This is just the way your father looked before he died. And he grabs Simba's paws the same way he grabs Mufasa's, and he's like, here's my secret. I killed Mufasa. And that also set Simba off. Simba was ready to crash out once again and pin Scar down. And it's like, murderer! Tell everybody the truth right the fuck now! So yeah, a whole big fight breaks out, and Simba finds Scar at the back of Pride Rock or whatever, right? And Scar's like, you wouldn't kill me. You wouldn't kill your own uncle. And anyways, it was the hyena's fault. It was their idea to kill Mufasa. And the hyenas overhear this, and they're like, oh, nah, he did not just do that. So, and then not a fight breaks out just yet. Scar's like, okay. Simba's low-key one of them MCs that only wins by being pissed. He did win because he was pissed. Scar still tries to manipulate Simba even more, like saying, it was the hyena's fault, it was their idea. And Simba's like, why should I believe you? Everything you ever told me was a lie. And Scar's like, oh, you wouldn't kill your own uncle, right? And Simba's like, no, run away and never return. Those same words that Scar said to Simba, Simba said again to Scar. And Scar's like, oh yes, of course, Your Majesty, and then swats some lava debris, forgetting what it's called right now. It's not ash, but lava debris. The rocks are still hot or whatever, into Simba's eyes, and then the fight breaks out. Cinders, yes, thank you, Maxwell. The cinders into Simba's eyes, and then the fight breaks out. And Simba was getting his ass kicked, high key. I'm not even gonna front with you guys. Simba was getting his ass kicked. But that final move where Scar lunges at Simba, Simba flips him over the cliff. He doesn't die. But he sees the hyenas circle him. He's like, oh, my friends. And then Shenzi's like, friends? I thought you said we were the enemy. And then the hyenas gang up on Scar and eat him alive. That's probably one of the more gruesome villain deaths of all time. Not even gonna lie. There's been so many gruesome Disney villain deaths, but I think this one takes the cake. Because nothing beats getting eaten alive by a pack of hyenas. Rip Bozo. And so it ends with Simba roaring on Pride Rock, taking his place as king. Some years pass and everything's back to normal because, you know, Scar turned the lands to shit. Everything's back to normal and another ceremony comes up. And Simba and Nala have a baby. Yay! And that's the Lion King. Woohoo! We finally did it after like an hour. Or maybe 40 minutes. Hyenas don't kill you before eating you. Yeah, getting eaten alive is probably one of the more gruesome deaths. But yay, there we go. Yay, that's the Lion King. Woohoo! I hope I did a decent enough job. Some mild problems. Yeah, this fucking stream got cut down. But it's okay. So now, we move on to The Lion King 2! Yay! Which The Lion King 2 is a direct-to-DVD sequel that came out in 1998. How about that? So, well, before we get into that, what was everyone's thoughts about the first presentation? Why does Simba look like a bootleg? Because he does. Yes, the dude. There is a second one. But yeah, like I said, Lion King 2 is a direct-to-VHS, direct-to-DVD sequel that came out in 1998, and it follows Simba's daughter, Kiara, not Takanashi. You fucking weebs. Anyway. Yep, DVD and VHS. Wawa. No, you damn weebs, no! So, the characters, Simba and Nala are still present. I didn't put them again because why would I have to? So, the characters are Kiara, not Takanashi, Kovu, Zira, Vitani, and Nuka. Kovu, Nuka, and Vitani are all Zira's children. Why is that the screenshot of Nuka? Because that's the only one that wasn't a web file. I'm lying. Takanashi. Anyway, let's get into the plot. So Simba and Nala have a daughter named Kiara, not Takanashi. And Simba is very, 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 extremely overprotective of her. He does not let her do fucking anything. Without Timon and Pumbaa being there spying on her or looking after her. Pompadour. So yeah, it starts off with the ceremony. It's not as detailed as the one in the first Lion King, but there's still a ceremony and the little baptism thing with the fruit juice and whatnot. Why does Simba have pyramids? Because he's crony. And Simba tells Kiara, hey, you see those places over there? That's the Outlands. Don't go over there. And what does Kiara do? She fucking goes over there anyway. She sneaks off from Timon and Pumbaa and goes over and kind of stumbles. She literally just kind of stumbles into the Outlands even though she was going there and meets a cub named Kovu. Kovu is the son of Zira. Zira is not Scar's mate. Let me make that clear. Zira is not Scar's mate. She is just a crazy fangirl. to put it lightly. She is a crazy fangirl. And Scar actually somehow at some point chose Kovu to be his heir. Kovu is not Scar's son. I will say that again. Kovu is not Scar's son. There are so many people that still believe that shit. So the two get chased down by crocodiles and almost eaten, and Kiara wants to play, but Kovu's from the Outlands and doesn't know what playing is, technically. So they're about to play fight until Simba comes in and roars. Okay, then why does he look like... Okay, why does he look just like Scar? Because originally, in the original script, Kovu actually was supposed to be Scar's son. But then the directors were like, wait, that's incest. And then decided to not make him his son. That is why he's still kind of... He actually had Scar's exact color palette, and his name was Nunca in the early drafts. So yeah, in the early drafts, his name was Nunca, and he had Scar's exact color palette, and he was supposed to be Scar's son. And like I said, the directors were like, wait, that's incest. Oops. So they just made him Zira's son. And for some reason, none of Zira's kids look like her. That's why people like to headcanon that Vitani and Kovu were, like, adopted. What the fuck does Nunca mean? Nunca means, I forgot. Well, I don't remember what Nunca means, but Nuka means stink. So yeah. Isn't that fun? Where was I? Oh yeah. Simba barges in and Zira barges in, and they have a little squabble argument type thing, and Zira lore dumps. Like... Zira actually kind of lore dumps. She's all like, oh, you banished us to the Outlands, and Kovu was the last born before you banished us, and he's Scar's successor. Like, she's giving just, yes, evil exposition. Like, Simba didn't already know this. He knows that he banished them. Why are you giving this exposition? So after this, the two were split for years, and during this time, we'll get into it later, but during this time, the Lion Guard happens. And what is the Lion Guard? Great question. We're gonna answer that way later. Or Dump's like she's doing a live stream. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy bitch. So now's the time that Kiara grows up and her first hunt happens. And during this time, Kovu has, you know, been trained to kill Simba. That's all he's been doing all his life, was training and growing up to be a murderer. Isn't that fun? So Zira's other two kids, Vitani and Nuka, go to the elephant graveyard and set fire to sticks on the steam vents and set fire to the place where Kiara's hunting. And Zira sends Kovu to save her, you know, to win the trust of Simba and over the pride. So Kovu saves Kiara, and she's like, who are you? Why'd you save me? And, you know, they do the little thing, and Kovu's like, what are you doing? And he said that when they were kids, and she was like, Kovu? And you know, Kovu smiles. He gives that smile that triggered a lot of women apparently into having a crush on him. I'm not one of those apparently. I don't find Kovu attractive. I don't find any lion in The Lion King attractive. It's too much of my childhood. Hey man, I can't believe Kobo saved Kiara to get Crony's trust. But anyway, Kovu saves Kiara, and of course Simba is not gonna trust him because, you know, you were banished with the other outsiders, your Scar successor, I don't trust you. And that's fine because Simba was right half of the movie. Just saying, half of the movie Simba was right. I did not. I really don't. Let's say, yeah. But I can't say the same for other people. So, eventually during Kovu's mission to try to gain trust of Kiara and Simba and the Pride as a whole so he can, you know, fucking murder Simba, he and Kiara fall in love. And and you know, he and Kiara talk under the I did it again, under the stars, and Cove was like, do you think Scar's up there? You know, cause Kiara was talking about, oh, my father and I used to do this all the time, and the great kings of the past are up there. And Cove was like, you think Scar's up there? No, Kovu. Scar is in Lion Hell. Let's get that straight. He is in Lion Hell. Under the scars, yeah. I did it again. Anyway, and then we get a love song from Rafiki, of all people. We get a love song called Upendi, and they fall in love some more, and he's Mayan volcano. So one day, well, actually during this time, when they're under the stars, Simba and Nala are also under there because Simba was seeking guidance from his father, and he's like, I don't know what to do. Father, can you answer me? Mufasa doesn't fucking answer, by the way. And the next day, after Nala convinces Simba, hey, you gotta give Kovu a chance, Simba does give Kovu a chance, and the moment he does, the outsiders come out and they pull an ambush on Simba. And Zero blurts out, oh, well done, Kovu, just like we always planned. Dad, is my prejudice justified? Yes. In the first half of the movie, yes, it actually is. So the outsiders ambush Simba. Simba thinking that, you know, he was right this whole time. And Kovu was like, no, I didn't have anything to do with this ambush. But, you know, Simba won't listen, and the outsiders try to kill Simba, like, really badly. Like, you get a whole gang of them jumping him. Like, Simba was getting his ass beat again. And he gets away by climbing some logs. And since Kovu wasn't doing anything, his older brother Nuka goes after Simba, and Nuka ends up dying. He gets crushed by the logs because Simba had kicked off. He tripped because one broke, and he tripped, gets crushed by a log, falls down, there's another one that Simba kicks off and it crushes him. So Simba is badly injured and Nuka's fucking dead. And Kovu tries to find him, but Zero pushes him out the way. Climbing really doesn't seem to end well. You are absolutely right. It really doesn't. Zero pushes Kovu out the way and finds Nuka. Nuka's on his last breath. And there's actually a deleted scene for this scene. Nuka speaks further and he's like, well, I finally got your attention, because all Nuka wanted was attention from his mom. And Zira only gave that attention to Kovu because she was training Kovu to be Scar's heir. And Nuka says, I finally got your attention, and Zira smiles. This is like, this is the only time, we'll get to it. This is the only time in the movie you actually see her smile. Well, this is a deleted scene. But anyway, she smiles and Nuka dies in her paws, basically. And so after that, Zira gets mad. She starts crashing out. Not really. She starts crashing out and swipes Kovu in the face and gives Kovu his scar. And she's like, what have you done? And Kovu's like, I didn't do anything. And Zira's like, that's the problem. You didn't do anything. You betrayed your pride. You betrayed Scar. And Kovu's like, I want nothing to do with him anymore. And, you know, and he runs away from the outsiders. And he tries to go back to Simba's pride. And Simba's like, nah, bro. Nah. Do evil smiles count? Yesn't. But Simba's like, nah, bro. So we get a banger of a song. We get the banger. Not One of Us. Yeah, we get Not One of Us, and Kovu's exiled, and Kiara's upset. And she's telling Simba, oh, you'll never be Mufasa. Because Simba was talking about, oh, he's following in Scar's paw prints and I have to follow my father's. Kiara's like, you'll never be Mufasa! And then runs away, which is like 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 scene. So, Kiara sneaks away because she's really good at that. And she finds Kovu. And we get another song called Love Will Find a Way. And during this, Zira's like, alright, I'm declaring war on these motherfuckers. So a war begins between the Pridelanders and the Outlanders. And so after a while, when Kovu and Kiara see their reflections in the pond, their two halves are making one, and Kovu's like, we are one. And which is something that Simba said to Kiara when she was a cub. And Kovu's like, we'll run away together and start a pride of our own. And Kiara's like, no, we have to go back. Our place is with our pride. And Kovu's unsure, but eventually he gives in and goes running with Kiara to stop the war. And so they stop the war, and, you know, Kiara's telling Simba, a wise lion once told me we are one. And Vitani was the first, that's Kovu's sister, Vitani was the first to realize this, and goes and joins the Pridelanders. And Zira threatens her own daughter. Zira threatens her own daughter, and that was enough to tip the other Outlanders off, and they're like, nah, bro, she too weird for this. And so the Outlanders join the Pridelanders, and leaving Zira alone. And, you know, Simba's all like, okay, Zira, you gotta put the past behind you. And Zira's like, nah, I can't do that. And so she attacks Simba, but Kiara lunges forward and blocks Zira from attacking Simba. And so they both, here we go again, they both fall off a cliff, sliding down, and Simba goes and rushes in and tries to save Kiara. And meanwhile, Zira is like on the flat part of on the cliff. I think we all know. I think we all know where this is going. Zira's on the flat side of the cliff, barely hanging on, and Kiara's like, Zira, I'll help you. And it was before she could do anything else, Zira falls to her death. And this is another deleted scene. Oh, welcome back, Stun. I see you finally figured out where the stream redirected to. There's another deleted scene. In this deleted scene, the same thing happens, but when Kiara says, I'll help you, Zira says, no, never, and she willingly let goes of the cliff, killing herself. That is why I put this bullet point here, because in the original script, Zira fucking kills herself, and she's smiling. They kept the smiling in the final cut for some reason. I guess they couldn't edit it for whatever reason. But she's smiling on her way down and fucking dies. So Simba saves Kiara, and the Outlanders are welcomed into the Pride Lands, and Kovu gets Simba's trust, and everything is well, and be declined Lion King without a cliff. You're so right. And they conjoin the prides, and that Kovu and Kiara are the symbol of the conjoined prides. And that is the end of Lion King 2. Yay! I went all over the place again, but it's okay. I think I explained it somewhat well, but that is why you guys have the PowerPoint. So when I tangent, this is here. But yeah, that's the end of Lion King 2. Let's go. So, before we get into anything else, the movie ended on a cliff. It didn't end on a cliff. Okay, I guess not really, but I get the pun. I get the pun. Ooh, more dead lions. Yeah, we had a more dead lion count. Yay. Anyway. Now we're getting into non-canon / semi-canon. Woo! How long has this been? I don't know. Oh, 39 minutes. So, an hour 30. Unfortunately, the VOD of the first half couldn't be. I'm still mad about that. I'm still so mad about that. Anyway, non-canon / semi-canon. Woohoo! And we're gonna get it into the book series, The Lion King 6 New Adventures. 6 New Adventures, yay. Favorite. So, This book series came out in like 1994, 1995, sometime after the first Lion King. So there were no plans of a sequel at this time. These were just one-off books. They aren't made by Disney, so they are not canon. They just have a Disney label slapped on it, basically. But these are not canon at all. So the basic premise is that Simba and Nala have a son named Kopa, and the series follows stories of the past being told to him. One of which, how Scar got a scar. Now before we do that, I forgot to mention in the original Lion King, but we were talking about the new movie. We will be talking about the entire franchise, the entire franchise. I forgot to mention in the original Lion King, there was a Honest Trailers, I believe the channel Honest Trailers had the director of the original Lion King on there to react to their Honest trailer. And, the director said, and he and his team believe how Scar got a scar in the original Lion King was that him and Mufasa were roughhousing a little too much, and Mufasa gave Scar his scar, and it was just a mean nickname, basically. So that's how that happened in the original Lion King. That is the director's point of view. The director himself said that. So, back to The Lion King 6 New Adventures. We're going to be talking about how Scar got his scar in the book series on canon. Kind of a dick move. Yeah, that's kind of a dick move. I agree. So, in the original, Scar was just a mean nickname given to him, but the directors could not come up with a name before Scar, basically. And I will also mention that in one iteration of the original script of The Lion King, Scar and Mufasa were not supposed to be brothers, but they changed it to make Mufasa's death more impactful. Yeah. So, we're gonna be talking about Kopa for a little bit. Kopa and the fandom. A long time ago, the fandom really worshipped Kopa for some fucking reason. They worshipped him like a god. They thought he was just this perfect little sweet boy that could do no wrong. So a lot of the fanon like to theorize that between Lion King 1 and 2, Kopa was born and killed off by Zira as revenge on Simba because, Zira believed that Simba killed Scar. They make him a love interest to Vitani. I think mostly because Kovu and Kiara are paired, that they just make him a love interest to Vitani, which just doesn't really make any sense at all. And some fanon like to have him survive and come back as an adult after TLK2. It's just something. I kind of have this sort of little resentment towards Kopa because of the fandom, because of the fandom's fanon doing the same thing over and over and over again, that I kind of just ended up hating it. I mean, Kopa does nothing. He just listens to stories all day. That's all. And he has a couple friends in the books, but I'm not gonna get into that. These books aren't canon, but a lot of people think they are, and everyone's like, oh, Disney forgot Kopa, or Kion was replaced with Kopa. Who's Kion? I'll answer that later. The fandom really did ruin Kopa for me, but Kopa is still in my headcanon, he's just the youngest sibling. He's not the oldest, he's the youngest, and he's a little grouch and an edgy teenager. That is how I view him. Anyway, A Tale of Two Brothers. Let's get into how Scar got his scar in this iteration. So the story follows Mufasa and Taka, sons of King Ahadi and Queen Aru. Aru's not that relevant to the story, but I just wanted to add her in there. And Taka is visibly jealous of Mufasa, calling him daddy's favorite and claiming Mufasa gets all of the attention. And it's actually shown that around this age, Taka hangs around the hyenas, and that's about it. So Taka schemes to embarrass Mufasa while they go hunting together, because Ahadi was supposed to take both of his sons hunting, but he ran into some things and had to cancel plans, so that made Taka very upset. So Mufasa wants to talk to Boma, the leader of the Cape Buffalo, into sharing the watering hole with the animals. Meanwhile, Taka's a little dick, and he's like, "Hey, me and Mufasa are here to challenge you. If you don't share, by the way." So Boma gets triggered and chases down Mufasa and Rafiki. Rafiki's here too, apparently. They get away, so she goes after Taka, and Taka stumbles, and he gets slashed by her horn, giving him his scar. This is just how he gets it in this way. I don't know why, I don't know how, but this is how Scar gets his scar in this iteration. And Taka tells Ahadi and Mufasa that he'll now be known as Scar, so they, especially Ahadi, will never forget that day. Aren't Cape Buffalo like it? I think so. So that is just a quick rundown of how Scar got his scar in this iteration. First iteration was Mufasa gives it to him. This iteration is that he gets it from a Cape Buffalo. And he wants to be called Scar. No mean nicknames, he wants to be called Scar. So now, we get into The Lion King 1.5! Woohoo! Oh man, I thought this was gonna be going on for much longer, but we're halfway through, I think. I think we're already halfway through. So this movie came out in 2004, I believe, and this is about Timon and Pumbaa. You, as a kid, you like 1.5 over 1. As a kid, I can understand that. It's a fun movie. I actually had a very short PowerPoint slide for this, but I went and watched the movie again during one of my shifts at work, and I decided to make a plot slide instead. So let's get into it. The plot. I'm just gonna be reading off the PowerPoint at this point, I think. Taka, he doesn't want to be called Taka, which makes him Takanashi. God damn it, Doku. Anyway, the plot of this is that Timon is an outcast in his family. So, you know, Timon's a meerkat. Meerkats dig tunnels and all that shit. And Timon's not very good at that. He's not very good at digging tunnels. He keeps fucking shit up for everybody. And so he gets put on watch duty. I forgot what it was called, but he gets put on watch duty to look out for hyenas. And that didn't go so well. So dig a tana, dig a tana. Yep. quick before the hyena comes. So the hyenas attacked, which was actually Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed. The hyenas attacked the colony, and that made the colony lose trust in Timon. So Timon decides to leave to find his own path. And here's where a little continuity error comes in. He meets Rafiki, and Rafiki's all like, look beyond what you see. And he uses metaphors, and I think Timon's autistic or something because he takes it literally. You didn't hear that from me. You would have hated Minecraft. But yeah, because you know, in the original Lion King, Timon's like, who's the monkey? And in this movie, it's an exaggerated retelling of the first movie plus the origins of Timon and Pumbaa. So I get where they're coming from. There's gonna be some continuity errors in here. That's why it's like semi-canon. So after a talk with Rafiki, Timon meets Pumbaa. And Timon and Pumbaa go through various Lion King scenes to find their dream home. So they find...
At Amica Insurance,
oh my god.
it's more than a life policy.
Fucking up everything. One of these days, I'm gonna give in to YouTube Premium, just not today. Get the ads. I want to turn down the music just a bit more, just so the ads don't play as loudly, but I think it's at a perfect volume, unfortunately. So they go through, let's see, they go to Pride Rock, because Timon thinks that that's where his dream home is. And there's a fart joke. Yeah. There's a fart joke that makes the animals look like they pass out. And the animals in front of the animals that pass out are like, oh, everyone's bowing, we better bow because the Circle of Life is playing right now and Simba's presentation is happening right now. I don't know how that worked in between them going past Pride Rock under this little hideaway place past Pride Rock, and the Just Can't Wait to Be King sequence happens. I don't know how time flew in between them getting to Pride Rock and to that tiny little space, but that's what happened. And Timon gets annoyed by the music sequence, and he takes a stick and knocks it at one of the animals. I think it was an elephant. He hits one of the elephants on the leg, and he hits one of the elephants, and they trip, and that caused the whole spiraling down thing that happened at the end of Just Can't Wait to Be King. They do those little gags to be like, oh, this is how this happened, and all that stuff. And they get through, they go to the elephant graveyard, and they, just when they're about to settle down, Be Prepared comes on. Excuse me. So they dance out of there, because they're like, oh shit, that's a lot of hyenas. This place is already occupied, and they dance out of there. It was a little funny gag. And then, you know, just as Timon is about to give up, Pumbaa mentions the place that he came across, that little paradise, and they finally find their dream home. And this is where little Simba comes in. They rescue Simba like they did in the original movie. 1.5 could, yeah, it could be. That's why it's semi-canon, and it's just an exaggerated retelling. So small hijinks ensue as Simba grows up, like he's constantly putting himself in danger, like he's climbing trees way too up high and he falls off, like a branch breaks and he falls and all that stuff, and he goes down a really tall waterfall with rocks at the bottom, and Timon and Pumbaa always have to like get him out of trouble and save his life because, you know, Simba's just a kid and kids do dumb shit. And as a teenager, they actually show Simba as a teenager, and it's pretty cool. He and Timon have a snail eating contest to prove that Simba has perfected Hakuna Matata. And so, fast forward to when Simba is reunited with Nala. The duo attempts to sabotage their time together, and this also explains like why Simba and Nala fell in that one scene at Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Why they fell, because Timon and Pumbaa set out like a piece of I think a vine and made them trip. Yeah. So when Simba returns to the Pride Lands, initially Timon didn't take it lightly and refused to help and stayed behind. But you know, Rafiki shows up again, and Timon actually has a conversation with himself and convinces himself to go and help Simba. It's all Timon and Pumbaa's fault. Everything is Timon and Pumbaa's fault. So we get to the part, you know, where Simba, you know, needs some help and needs a distraction. So Timon creates a plan to form tunnels to lure and trap the hyenas with the help from his mother and Uncle Max. It doesn't work at first, but Timon dives in and kicks it off. I say this is a continuity error because the hyenas were supposed to be listening in on Simba and Scar during this time. And this is where the original Lion King ends. You know, after the fight and all that shit. This is where the original Lion King ends. Timon shows his family where he, Pumbaa, and Simba lived in. So his family moves there so they don't, you know, have to worry about fending for their lives every single day. And at the movie scene, they like to, you know, cut out and show that Timon and Pumbaa are watching the movie along with us. Ma and Uncle Max show up to watch the movie, and they start it over. And then they have this little gag where a bunch of Disney characters come in and join in, and it's pretty funny. I like the gag at the end where all the Disney characters come in. And that's the end of Lion King 1.5. Woo! Tunnel-based warfare, I guess you call that guerrilla tactics. Jesus Christ, Doku. Oh boy. We're getting to this a little faster than I thought, but it's okay. So that's The Lion King 1.5. It's a fun movie. I gotta say, it's a really fun movie. It's not meant to be taken seriously, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of people like to say that this movie was kind of like based on Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, because it tells their side of the story during Hamlet, and The Lion King is Lion Hamlet, and The Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Timon Vietnamese red circle in the thumbnail. You know, there's actually a video talking about The Lion King 1.5 and Judaism, I think it was, and talking about how Timon and his family are Jewish. I watched that video. Bon me and Pho. Anyway, next part. The Lion Guard! We're finally here! We're finally here at the Lion Guard. The Lion Guard is a Disney Junior original series that started in 2015. So it follows Simba's son, Kion, and his friends. So, oh, I'm in the way. But it's fine. Let me see if I can move myself. There we go. Move myself for a little bit. So, in the center, obviously, this is Kion, Simba's son. I heard mixed things about the Lion Guard regarding canon. Yeah. Everything about those. This is Kion. This is his best friend Bunga. He's a honey badger. This is friend Beshti, obviously a hippo. Fuli the cheetah, and Ono the egret. And there's another character that gets introduced later on that I did not get a picture of, but I will talk about her later. His son Kion. Anyway, will I be streaming at 9? I don't know how much longer this is gonna take, so we'll just have to see. But I could do another stream after this. I'm in the streaming mood, kind of. Why does the kid have a tattoo? We're getting into that. So, Return of the Roar. Let me move myself back over and make myself a little bit smaller. My ears are gonna be in the way, but that's okay. That's okay. It's K-Sun! So it opens up with Simba and Kiara at the top of Pride Rock, soon to be interrupted by his son Kion and his best friend Bunga. So they kind of butcher Kiara and Simba in this series. I'll be getting more into that, but Kiara's a little brat. Kiara's a little brat that likes to brag about being queen, when in the second movie she didn't want to be queen at all. She just wanted to be herself and be free. So Kion and Bunga go play the baobab ball with the baobab fruit, and the baobab fruit rolls into the Outlands. So Kiara being mischaracterized and taken out of context never changes. It doesn't matter which Kiara we're talking about, that statement is true. She had a phase. I like the headcanon that she had a phase, like when she got a younger brother, she's a preteen, and she just becomes more bratty in that phase, but then she later loosens up again to her old self. That's my headcanon. Anyway. So Bunga gets captured by hyenas trying to get the fruit, and Kion lets out a giant magic roar. And this is called the Roar of the Elders. And Simba's all worried. He's like, wait, I need more time to prepare him. He's still a child. He's still a child. And Rafiki's like, nope, you run out of time. It's too late. You gotta tell him about the Lion Guard. So Kion comes back to Pride Rock and he's all like, yeah, my roar was kind of different today. And so Rafiki and Simba tell Kion about the Lion Guard. And the Lion Guard is a group of lions who protect the Pride Lands from, you know, from predators, other predators, and you know, stuff like that. You know, getting Pride Landers out of trouble, little mishaps here and there, natural disasters and all that shit. So Simba wants Kion to go recruit other members to be a part of the guard. Meatball. And so Kion goes and picks out his friends. He picks out Bunga to be the bravest. He picks out Beshti to be the strongest. He picks out Fuli to be the fastest. And he picks Ono to be the keenest of sight. While Kion, as the leader, he gets to be the fiercest. Those are the roles of the Lion Guard, by the way, that I just listed out. And so he picks out his friends, and Simba's disappointed in his choice. He's like, you know, it's not a game you play with your friends. It's real life. It's serious. Like, your life will depend on all of this. Which is out of character for Simba because, number one, he was raised by a meerkat and a warthog. Why are you getting upset that your son has a diverse group of animals as his guard? Like, what other lions in the Pride Lands can be on there? What's the difference between the bravest and the fiercest? That's a good question. The fiercest, they just automatically, because lions are fierce beings. That's all. That's really it. You should have people who will later try to upserve and kill you later, like my dad did. That's how you pick a lion guy. So yeah, Simba's disappointed in his choice, and Kion goes off by himself. He sings a song, he's lamenting, and Mufasa appears in the clouds. And Mufasa gives Kion advice. This will become a reoccurring thing, which I like to call Ghost Skype. Because for some goddamn reason, Mufasa likes to pick favorites and gives Kion advice all the time. But in the movies, he was just non-existent until the pivotal moment Simba needed him the most. And then almost not at all in Lion King 2. Which is fantastic. It's like that thing that people meme on, where the grandparents are like more loving towards the grandkids more than their own children. Yeah, that. So yes, Mufasa loves you. Y'all hear some? Yeah, basically. So the guard later proves themselves by defending against Janja and his hyenas over hunting and saving Kiara from a stampede. This TV movie, I forgot to say that Return of the Roar is a TV movie. Is a TV movie that premiered in 2015. And so after saving Kiara, Kion magic roars the hyenas back into the Outlands. And that is the end of The Lion Guard Return of the Roar. Yay! Yeah, that's basically it for this this premiere, this TV movie that people like to count towards the movies. Get away. So I don't think I explained that very well, but but there you go. That is the start of a spin-off series called The Lion Guard. So, we're gonna get into season 1! Woohoo! Oh man, this is taking... So, in season 1, Kion befriends a hyena named Jasiri. This is Jasiri. This is some fan art I found. In this episode, Kion gets... This is like the 4th episode of the series. Kion gets trapped in the Outlands, and he comes across a hyena. And this is like after he defeats Janja again. Stop it, Bobby. Sorry. This is after he defeats Janja and his clan. And the hyenas never came back in TLK2. There was a scene where did they just go extinct? There is a scene, the scene where Nuka and Vitani were getting the fire sticks. But Nuka says this place is even creepier ever since the hyenas ran off. So the hyenas just ran off to God knows where. Yeah. So that's what happened to the hyenas in TLK2. They just ran off somewhere. And the adult hyenas aren't in the Lion Guard either. Yeah. But before I get more into season 1, I'm gonna take a little breaky. Because I've been talking a lot. So BRB.
made USAA for homeowners who like being ready. That's why we have safety tips for things like fires, home security, and USAA insurance just in case. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
The most affordable 12-month GLP-1 program, with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy. For one payment upfront, 12 months of weight loss by Hers includes one weekly injection. App content to help you achieve your weight loss goals.
Hello, I'm back. Spilled my tea, trying to scramble to cut the ad off. I have tea now. Spilled some of it, but I have tea now. Alright, so let's get back into it. Here we go. So, in this episode, Kion defeats Janja and his clan of hyenas once again. And when this happens, when he yells at them, he doesn't roar at them, he just yells at them to leave. And so Kion was standing on this log, I think, and it broke, and oh, it's English breakfast tea. And the log broke and he fell into the river. The river current is too strong, so he was just getting sent flying around everywhere in the water. And so he ends up in the Outlands because he can't cross the river back into the Pride Lands. That is how neighboring the Outlands are to the Pride Lands. We saw it in TLK 2 that the Outlands are basically right there. Yeah, I went with basic tea today. What is it with lines and logs? I don't know. So he ends up in the Outlands, and he comes across this hyena, and Kion's racist. He says hyena exactly like that. He says it in the most prejudiced way possible, like it's a slur. Yeah, they have a hippo on the team, but it was, the current was even too strong, way too strong for Beshti too. so they can, plus the plot needed to happen. And so Kion ends up in the Outlands. He comes across this hyena named Jasiri, and Kion's racist towards her, because all he knows are bad hyenas. And so he's trying to get back home, and Jasiri is following him the way there. And he's like, "Why are you following me?" And she's like, "Well, you're going the wrong way if you want to go back home." And Kion's like, "I know what I'm doing, hyena," and all that junk. So Kion falls off a ledge. Here we go again. Kion falls off a ledge into a thorn bush because he was going the wrong way, and Jasiri didn't tell him that the trail ended until he fell, because she thought it was funny. And so, ooh, I'm trying to remember the episode. I watched it like this morning, or yesterday, one of those. So yeah, he falls on his back, and meanwhile, the B plot happens. The Lion Guard is trying to meet him at Flat Ridge Rock. Just keep them apart. Yeah. They're trying to meet Kion at Flat Ridge Rock. That is basically the little side plot, B plot to this episode. And so Jasiri helps Kion out of the thorn bush, and Kion ends up limping because of his fall. And Jasiri feels bad, so she's like, "Okay, I'll walk with you until you get to Flat Ridge Rock. Just to make sure, you know, you're not hurt anymore." And while they're walking, a chameleon, I think, or a lizard, one of those creatures, eats a bug. And Kion's like, "You see that? That's the circle of life." And Jasiri's like, "Wait, you don't think I know about the circle of life?" And here goes Kion being racist again. He was like, "Well, you are a hyena." And Jasiri's like, "Listen, I know about the circle of life. Some hyenas are good. I'm one of those good hyenas." And then we get one of the best, if not the best song in the entire series, called Sisi Nisawa, which means we're the same. And so, you know, they sing the song. Kion starts to understand. Some kind of reptilian being. Yeah, some kind of reptilian being. Kion starts to understand that, you know, they're the same. And more ways than one, which is really funny because lions and hyenas are actually closely related in real life. She doesn't actually say that. I'm just regurgitating things. She doesn't actually say I'm one of the good ones. She actually explains how hyenas are like the cleanup crew, and they pick up the food that the sloppy eaters, aka lions, leave behind. And they sing the song, and fuck, I'm trying to remember. And Kion starts to understand everything a bit more, how they're the same. And so Kion ends up getting to Flat Ridge Rock, well, close to Flat Ridge Rock. And Jasiri tells him that they're in Janja's territory, so they're trying to keep it on the down low that they're there. And she's like, "Okay, Flat Ridge Rock is just over the that cliff or whatever. Just over those rocks or something. I can't remember. And so Jasiri runs into Janja, and she starts fighting them because, you know, Janja's clan attacked her, and Kion overhears this and decides to go help Jasiri. So Jasiri and Kion fight alongside each other against Janja's clan. And, you know, they win. And the guard comes in too. And Kion, yep, here we go again. Kion magic roars the hyenas away. Except for Jasiri, obviously. And that's the end of the episode. I just wanted to get that episode out there to give more insight on who Jasiri is and what her relationship to Kion is and how that came to be. So in one episode, Kion actually meets Zira and the Outsiders, and we will be talking about this in another slide. But for now, he just let's just say he meets them. In another episode, Kion loses control of the roar. This would be a reoccurring issue. So in this episode, I kind of hate the beginning of this episode. Nala gets attacked by Janja and his clan, and that makes Kion really angry, and he starts crashing out and lets out a dark roar, a quote-unquote dark roar, where the clouds in the sky turn like really stormy and gray. And he let out the roar in anger, and it caused an earthquake, and it caused the earth to open up, and Nala falls in, grabbing on the ledge. Here we go again, grabbing on the ledge, hanging for her life, and Kion helps her out. I kind of hate the beginning of that episode because they nerfed the fuck out of Nala. Like, there's a shot in TLK1 where she's beating the shit out of grown adult hyenas, and then for some reason in this series they make her get surrounded by 5 teenage hyenas and she can't beat them for some fucking reason. It made me so mad. Sorry, this tea good as fuck. It's the goddamn ledges again. Yep, the goddamn ledges. And so season 1 is very villain of the week for most of the season. The main villain being Janja and his clan. If you just search up Janja Lion Guard, you'll see who he looks like. I would have put that in there, but nah. The idea of the circle of life changes very often, by the way. So, you know, like how I said in that the episode Never Judge a Hyena by Its Spots, they show the lizard reptilian creature eating a bug. So they're fine with like showing creatures eat bugs. Is it villain of the week if it's the same villain? It is villain of the week because there's one episode where there's jackals as the villain that come from the Outlands. There's another episode where there's a leopard named Bakucha that comes in and he's trying to eat, and the guard stops him because it's not his territory. That's where the idea of the circle of life kind kind of changes, because it's really about not letting predators get to eat. That's basically what the guard is doing. Kombucha. Makucha. Makucha. That is his name, the leopard. You'll see a picture of him later, because I actually thought about it. Simba kind of sucks in this series. Kiara does too sometimes. Why I say Simba sucks in this series is because, well, it was evident in Return of the Roar, where he was really mad at Kion for picking out his friends that just so happened to be a diverse group of animals. And you know, Simba was raised by a meerkat and a warthog. He should know something about animal diversity. Just saying. And they make Simba kind of like not himself. I don't know how to describe it, but he's not himself. Like, if you watch the original Lion King and if you watch Lion King 2, that's Simba. This is not Simba in Lion Guard. He's just like, oh, I'm the king and you gotta do what I say and something like that. And Kiara kind of sucks because she's like a spoiled brat, and Simba kind of favors Kiara in this series. It's pretty evident that he favors Kiara over Kion most of the time, and he doesn't start loving them equally until like season 3. That's my interpretation anyway. Damn, this tea good. And the show actually shows traditions of the Pride Land. So the Kupatana celebration is where all the Pride Landers come together for a day of peace and watch the baobab trees bloom flowers. You know, elephants having their own language. Timon and Pumbaa share Christmas for with the Pride Landers for the first time. And overarching, there is a song in every single episode. I'm so serious. There is a song in every single episode, and I've watched every single episode. And I gotta say, CC Nisawa just takes the cake. It's too good. And that was episode 4 of the series. It's just a good song. Plus, that those words will actually come back later in the series. So that was basically the gist of the season 1 of Lion Guard. Hold on, my mom's texting. Okay. Anyway. It's fine if this, the songs are good and well. So, we're getting to the Lions of the Outlands episode. This is what they look like in the Lion Guard style. It's so bad. Zero doesn't have her stripe, and she looks so weird. So, in this episode, totally forgot. In this episode, Jasiri's watering hole gets taken over by lions, and you know, Kion and Bunga are playing again. Slight budget drop. The one on the right, that's Nuka in Lion Guard style. Yeah, that's Nuka in Lion Guard style. He does look like Scooby-Doo got stung by a bee. I don't know why they made his nose so big. It's so weird. Anyway, so Jasiri's watering hole gets taken over by lions, and we learn this by Kion and Bunga playing, and Jasiri comes in, freaks out some animals by accident because she's a hyena, and she tells Kion, hey, I have a problem, it's actually lions this time and not hyenas. So Kion and Jasiri go to the Outlands, and Bunga is supposed to be telling the Lion Guard, hey, Kion went to the Outlands. So Kion meets Zira, Kovu, Vitani, and Nuka. How they meet is Nuka pins down Jasiri, and then Kion pins down Nuka. I don't know how the hell a lion cub took down a teenager, but he did. But he did. And Kovu comes in, and Nuka's like, oh, Kovu, tell the kid to let me up. And Kovu's like, he's my brother. After Kion asks if he's a friend of his. And so Kion lets Nuka up, and they circle each other for a bit, and they find out that he's Simba's son. So Nuka and Kovu take Kion and Jasiri to Zira, and Zira finds out that Kion is Simba's son, and Jasiri's like, he's not just Simba's son, he's leader of the Lion Guard. I don't know why the fuck she would give that information away, but she did. So Kion questions Zira and is like, why'd you take over Jasiri's watering hole? What are you doing here and all that? And Zira's like, well, why don't you just give your friend the water that she needs? And she's like, you see that cloud? Try roaring at it. And Kion's all confused, like, what the hell do you mean by that? So Kion magic roars at the cloud, and he makes the cloud into a rain cloud, and it storms for a little bit, and it rains and gives puddles of water. And he didn't know that he could do that, and he's like, Zira, why do you know that? But Zira this is part of her plan to manipulate Kion, and so she's like, oh, why don't we go talk alone? I don't feel comfortable discussing the roar in front of a hyena. She had to add that part. I'm so serious. So Kion and Zira talk, and she was talking about she sings a song called Lions Overall. It's not as good as My Lullaby from TLK2, but it's up there. It's not up there. It's a decent song for a kid's show. Let's say that. It's a decent song for a kid's show. It's kind of catchy, but it's not My Lullaby. And so, the B plot happens. The B plot is Ono racing fully. And yes, it was. My Lullaby is so damn good. I like your thinking, Meatball. The B plot happens. Fuli was racing Ono. And Bunga eventually tells the guard, and Rafiki's there painting, by the way. Bunga tells the guard and Rafiki that Kion went to the Outlands to go help with some lions, and Rafiki's freaking out. he's like, no, that's not good. Those are the outsiders. They were banished long ago before any of you were born and all this stuff. And funny enough, in the painting that Rafiki did, there's a painting in the Lion Guard lair. There's paintings all over it that tell stories of the past. Funny enough, the painting of Zira has her stripe, but her model in the Lion Guard doesn't have her stripe for some reason. I just thought that was funny. So that's the B plot. And so in the A plot, after the song, Zira tries manipulating Kion even more and was like, you know, I used to know somebody else with the roar, and when he used it against his fellow lions, he lost the roar forever. And Kion's like, wait, you're talking about Scar? And Zira's like, yes, Scar and I were very close, and if it weren't for your father, Scar would still be king. And Kion had a little outburst and was like, Scar was never the true king. And Zira starts crashing out and sends her lionesses on him, but was like, you know what, hold up, I apologize for that outburst. I'll give you some time to think about it. And she fetches her kids. And Kion fights a bunch of grown lionesses and kind of wins until they pin him down for a while. I know it's a kid's show, but it made me so mad that a child took on full adults and won. Too bad Scar was into toxic yaoi. And so Zira comes back, and you know, she was trying to, and I said before, she was manipulating Kion and telling him that if he used the roar against lions, he would lose it forever. And the guard comes in, knowing, you know, hearing the story about Zira and the outsiders, and Bunga, of all of them, had to remind Kion that Scar used the roar for evil and not because it was against other lions. And so Kion magic roars Zira and the outsiders to the termite mounds. And this is where the continuity error comes in. This episode confirmed that the show takes place after Kovu and Kiara met. Yet, their new home was the termite mound they were already living in Lion King 2. What sense does that? Why are they trying to fuck it up? They were already living in the termite mounds. And Kovu and Vitani should look older. That is my own personal gripe, but they should be preteens by now, at least. And they look like the same age as Kion when they're clearly older. And why wasn't Kion told about the Outlanders? Like nobody in his family told him about the outsiders at all. They just told him, don't go into the Outlands. Kion does anyway, most of the time. But he wasn't told about the Outlanders. It's so weird. They just moved into a second termite mound. Oh, I wish. Oh, I wish. So, Alliance of the Outlands was actually episode 22 of season 1. I'm not gonna talk anymore about season 1 after this. I gave you guys the gist of it. So, We're into season 2 now, and look who's here. Look who is here. Oh man. It's Scar! Alright, so in season 2, it's now the dry season, and everyone is struggling to get through it. There's a little bit of havoc here and there, at the start of the dry season, and season 2 is supposed to be like where things get quote-unquote dark because of the dry season, and a little bit more serious. So we're introduced to Makini, which is Rafiki's apprentice. She talks a lot. Like, a lot. He can only make it rain temporarily. It's not a permanent solution. The roar is not a permanent solution. It is a temporary solution to all his problems, apparently. So Ushari is an Egyptian cobra that was constantly abused by the Pridelanders throughout season 1 as a running gag. Him getting trampled on was a running gag throughout season 1 and a little bit of season 2. He got sick of it and learns that the lions of the past can be contacted because Makini doesn't know how to shut the fuck up, and she saw Kion talking to Mufasa, and she was really loud about it. Was extremely loud about it. So Ushari overheard this, and he uses this information to try and summon Scar. How this happens is that is Simba the only one who can't talk to his dad? Actually, they do show Simba finally talking to Mufasa in the Lion Guard. I'll get to that in a little bit, but they actually show Simba talking to Mufasa for once. So, the way that evil lions can be summoned is the staff that Royal Majuzis carry, because that's how they can contact the lion spirits of the past. Like, yeah, the lion spirits of the past can contact them through the staff. I'm forgetting what the staff is called right now. But that is how they can get contacted. Or at least they whisper to you. And they need the staff, and they need the Roar of the Elders. Combine that with a volcano, and you can speak to the evil lions of the past. So, So after using the Roar and Anger, I think it was because Kiara got kidnapped. Kiara getting kidnapped and getting into trouble, like becoming a damsel in distress, is kind of common in this series. Yeah. So, Janja threatens Kion's friends and family, and Kion gets really angry and lets out a massive dark roar, and so that causes the volcano to erupt. And Ushari is trying to get Scar to, be summoned. He's like, Scar, speak to me, and like shaking the staff and shit. Uh, and Janja gets mad because he's like, oh, I can't believe I believed you. And he tosses the staff into the volcano, and that is what makes Scar appear. The volcano is hell, isn't it? It's kinda. That is what makes Scar appear. You had to throw in the staff into the volcano after using the Roar of the Elders. And it summons the evil lion of the past. So technically Kion unknowingly summons the ghost of Scar. As clear as day, Scar is in hell. He comes up as a fire ghost lion. So throughout the season, Scar comes up with schemes to wreak havoc in the Pride Lands, and I kid you not, it's a lot of attempted murder in this show. Like, they were totally fine with showing attempted murder on this show. It's crazy. So like, one episode, Simba gets stung by a scorpion, and only volcanic ash can save him. So the Lion Guard has to go to the Outlands, go to the volcano, get the volcanic ash, and get it back to Simba in time before he fucking dies. And then another episode, I would be too, but it's really crazy that they were just like,
Kroger's
yeah, this
delivery
is...
makes it easy to do your holiday shopping in a jingle.
You didn't hear that. And in another episode, Jasiri and her niece and nephew get trapped into I think a steam vent or a volcano pit. I think it was a volcano pit, and the lava was rising up really high, and legit Janja tried to kill her and 2 cubs. Exactly. So there's 2 examples of attempted murder going on in this Disney Junior show. So sometime when the scorpion sting episode happens, this is when the Lion Guard finds out that Scar has returned. And then after this, Simba, Kion tells Simba that it happens off screen, by the way. That Kion tells Simba that Scar's returned. And then the Pride Landers find out that Scar's returned, and then with the help of the Lion Guard and Simba sometimes come up with ways to defend against him. And at the very end of the season, we're introduced to Anga. She is an eagle. She's not much of a talker. I like Anga. Ooh, screen exposition. I like Anga. She, I think it's funny because she mostly responds with "yup." That's how she responds. It's just "yup." I think it's funny. And she ends up helping the guard. And for some reason, the outsiders were way too busy training Kovu to not know Scar was back. Because I think it would have been pretty interesting to show how the outsiders and Ghost Scar would interact. I think that would have been cool. And that's the gist of Lion Guard Season 2. I need more tea. So now we're getting into Season 3. Doku, I hope you're still here because it's time for Toxic Yaoi. Okay. So, in season 3, there's just been ongoing battles between Scar's army. Scar's army consists of not these characters. We'll get into that. Scar's army consists of the Outlanders, Janja's clan, the Jackals from the Kupatana celebration episode, and the crocodiles. There's some half of the crocodile float from the Pride Lands got split. Because Kiburi, one of the crocodiles, tried to murder Simba. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Here we go again with attempted murder. Kiburi and 2 of his other crocodiles that didn't like Maku's following tried to kill Simba, and Simba banished them for attempted murder. And vultures. Yeah, it was the hyenas, jackals, crocodiles, and vultures that are Scar's army. And some skinks. And Ushari. But yeah, so ongoing battles between Scar's army and the Pride Landers, and the Lion Guard grow into teenagers. Yay! So then Janja contemplates switching sides. Doku. Janja contemplates switching sides. That night, Scar devises a plan to get rid of the Lion Guard, the royal family, and Janja's clan. So, how that happens is that he plans a fire at Pride Rock. Where have I seen that before? He plans a fire at Pride Rock. That'll... What he wants, would hope, would kill Simba, Nala, Kiara, Kion, the Lion Guard, and Janja's clan for betraying him. In the end, it doesn't work. And during that fire, Scar appears because he can just do that. He appears before all the Pride Landers. And is like, oh, you think you can defeat me and all this shit. But yeah, in the end, the plan doesn't work. So he devises another plan. The day has finally come to challenge Scar and the Outlanders, not the ones from TOK2, the Scar's army, basically. And here we go to how Scar got his scar. In this series, this is a different continuity than the other 2. He's in hell, what's there to defeat? You right. So, how Scar got his scar in this series. So, when he was a young adult, he was the Lion Guard leader of his day. And he took most of his patrols on his own. Because he just was just like that. And, he meets this strange lion. He meets this strange lion with a scar across his eye. And was like, the most powerful lion should be king. And, you have this magic roar. You should be king. And, if we could take over the Pride Lands together and all that stuff. And, basically... And Scar was already kind of like, oh, well, I'm the most powerful lion because, I have the Roar of the Elders and all this stuff. So Scar was already kind of a dick. And so, he and the strange lion are talking and walking, and the strange lion sends out a cobra against, in this series, he's called Ascari. it's not said in the series, but it was said by the creators of this series that his name is Ascari. And so the Cobra strikes him across his face, and that's how he got his scar. And the Strange Lion's like, I could cure the venom, but you gotta do what I say now. But Scar was too pissed off to even think about that. He was so pissed off, and he magic roared the Strange Lion and the Cobra into a nearby volcano, so killing them. So that's body count 2. Body count 2. Scar tells Mufasa about... That's not how Snake Fangs... It's how it works in this series. Get over it, meatball. And Ascari at the time tells Mufasa about the Strange Lion and the threat, and Mufasa's all like, oh, that's cute, I'm gonna call you Scar now. So Scar was a nickname. And Scar took it too seriously. Scar took it too seriously and was like, yeah, Mufasa shouldn't be king. So he devises a plan with his Lion Guard. It was like, I need you to help me take down Mufasa. And his Lion Guard refuses. So, not getting cured of the venom, he loses control of the roar and uses it for evil and kills his Lion Guard with his roar. So he loses the roar forever. Body count 6. And so then we cut to you know, the gorge scene. We get to the gorge scene, the stampede scene, body count 7. Where, you know, Mufasa dies and all that. And then we cut to the scene where Simba flips Scar off the cliff. I don't know why, but in this series, they like to pretend that Scar died in the fire at Pride Rock, because I guess they don't want to come out and say, hey, he got mauled alive by hyenas. They really did! They really did pull a Ninjago! That's crazy! But yeah, that's how Scar got his scar in this series. It was from a cobra slashing him in the face. And the venom made him, not being cured, made his decisions cloudy. So he couldn't tell right from wrong, essentially. So after the Pridelanders invade the Outlands and get through Scar's army, they face Scar, and Scar's like, you know, destiny works in funny ways. And he sends Ushari after Kion. So Ushari bites Kion and gives Kion a scar of his own. And that leaves Kion to like try to use the roar, but he couldn't because the venom in his system was making his decisions cloudy. Am I sleeping again? Oh no. But Mufasa's words come to him, you can't fight fire with fire. So Kion ends up forgiving Scar and let the lions of the past judge him. So he's like, I forgive you, and he blows a calm wind in Scar's direction as the roar, and so the lions of the past and the clouds also blow down on Scar, and it starts raining, and that is how Scar's ghost is defeated. I'm so serious. That is how Scar's ghost is defeated. He gets rained on and forgiven. You can use matching memes. So the war with Scar is finally over. The Pridelanders go home, and uh-oh. Was not expecting this to be on this long. So he beat Scar by blowing. Yes! He did! Blew him like a birthday candle! Yes, that is basically it. Let me set up my webcam just in case, because my phone is at 23%. So, the Pridelanders go home. Scar's defeated, yippee. But, Kion Scar starts messing with his mental well-being. So, and, I forgot. Ushari is defeated, because he dies in the volcano. So, Bunga gets mad at Ushari for biting Kion, and he tackles him into the volcano, and Ono dives in and saves Bunga, while Ushari falls into the lava and fucking dies. But the smoke and ash from the volcano, because Ono inhaled it too much, he becomes blind, basically. So he becomes the Lion Guard's smartest and sixth member for the first time ever, and Anga becomes the new keenest of sight. So the guard sets off to the Tree of Life, which is over in, like, India or some shit. It's over in Asia somewhere. So that's where the Lion Guard and Makini go. And there's this plant called Tuliza that helps Kion calm down when a scar is bothering him. This season is basically like an allegory of like trauma, depression, and antidepressants. So Tuliza acts like an antidepressant to Kion. And it helps him calm down. So this is Makucha right here, the leopard from season 1. Becomes the main villain of the season after Scar. They gave him weed pog. He overhears Makini mention the Tree of Life and makes it a mission to follow the guard to attack the tree and feast on the rare animals. So yeah, the Lion Guard travels from Africa to, I think, India. And I don't know why they go around in a way, because in one episode they meet snow monkeys, and so that means they're in Japan. So they went from Africa to Japan somehow. They go fucking everywhere to get to the Tree of Life. It's so weird. But it's just so funny. Anyway, so the Lion Guard, weeb lions. The Lion Guard save red pandas from a snow leopard named Chalon. Chalon eventually joins Makucha. This is Chalon. Yeah, that's Chalon. And the guard saves a dolphin from a Komodo dragon named Aura. He too joins Makucha and Chalon. This is Aura. And they overshot. And eventually, Mama Binturong is introduced. This is Mama Binturong. Took a wrong turn. She is basically a mob boss and in charge of Tuliza in her forest. She steals Makini's staff. She has a group of porcupines that follow her, and they steal Makini's staff. And the animals in the forest freak out whenever... How the fuck you end up on Komodo Island? I don't know. You just do. So yeah. Crap, what was I saying? Binturongs are pretty basic. Yeah, so, the animals in the forest basically freak out if you even mention the word Tuliza. If you say Tuliza, they freak the fuck out. Like, they start tweaking. Because Mama Binturong is that scary. Bunga eventually finds her hideout and, destroys the Tuliza by farting. I got this far without mentioning Bunga and his farting. That is a thing he does quite often. I don't know why there's so many fart jokes with him. But yeah. Mama Binturong swears revenge on Bunga. And Kayan Scar gets to him more and more, so much that the Tuliza isn't working anymore. So you know, like how like you can start getting used to antidepressants and kids love it. Yes. So yeah, yeah, how you get used to antidepressants and they just stop working for you. That's basically the allegory in this series. So season 3 continued. So after the long trek around, for some reason they went the long way around. They get to the Tree of Life, and they meet the Night Pride. This is the Night Pride. This is Rene. This is her brother Balio. This is her uncle Surak, and this is Nirmala. The fan was unexpected. Did I turn the music down? I did. Okay, great. Rene is a bitch. I hate her. I hate her so much. I hate her so much. She is the biggest bitch ever. So when they get to the Tree of Life, Kion's really irritated because his scar's bothering him, and Bunga sees a beehive and he climbs the hillside and tries to grab the bees, but it causes a rock slide, and their owl, I forgot her name, the Night Pride's owl sees them and warns the Night Pride. And so Balio, remember this is Balio. Balio thinks that the guard sounds mean, so he goes and attacks them. It's kind of funny. Balio's a little stupid, but it's okay. So he goes and attacks the guard, and so the Night Pride soon follow. And Rhaenys, for some reason, she says, "Oh, and your lion friend attacking my little brother is a misunderstanding because that's she's just a bitch." And Kion's scar is bothering him, so he magic roars at Balio. And sends him flying, and that pisses off Rhaenys, so that causes her to basically kick out the Lion Guard. Like, it's bad. I don't remember the Land Before Time that much. I can't remember the last time I saw it, so I can't say as bad as Sarah. I'm saying a lot. So Rhaenys kicks out the Lion Guard, and Kion is really upset because they came all this way just for them to be kicked out because everything's Bunga's fault with his bitch ass. And you know, there's a song, Kion laments again, there's a song, and he goes back to his friends and they clear out the rock slide and don't step forth into the Tree of Life at all. They just stand there outside the passageway. So Rhaenys goes to check on Balio, and then she goes to her grandmother and starts talking about the Lion Guard, and saying, oh, there was a lion with a scar across his eye, and he had this roar powerful enough to send Balio flying. And her grandmother, Queen Janna, was like, oh, the roar has returned. I need you to go get that lion right now. And Rhaenys is such a bitch about it. And so Rhaenys and the Night Pride go back, and they see that the guard cleared the passage, cleared the rock slide, and didn't step forth. And Kion's like, I know you don't want to let me in, but can you take care of my friend Ono? So Kion was basically sacrificing himself for Ono, because Ono wasn't part of the fight. And Rhaenys like, you know, I guess we could let you in, because anyone who's willing to sacrifice themselves for their friends is worthy, even though it was a direct order from the queen, and she didn't mention that at all. So ooh, I need a break. So the Lion Guard is welcome in, and they meet Queen Janna and everything. And then throughout this, Kion is trying to heal his scar. He's going through therapy, basically. He's trying to heal his scar. He wants it to go away because it's bothering him so much, and it makes him look like Scar. And oh man, I forgot. Oh, so when Kion gets his scar, Scar sings CC Nisawa to him. Like I said earlier, that CC Nisawa would come back up in this series. It does, because Scar sings it to him, and Queen Janna also says CC Nisawa to Rhaenys, saying that we all have our scars. So Kion's going through therapy, Ono's getting healed, and all is well. All is well, things are going smoothly until until the bad guys attack again. So Makucha, Chalon, and Aura follow the Lion Guard to the Tree of Life. Yes, Scar does still have top tier sass. And they follow the guard to the Tree of Life, and they try to get in, but the Night Pride stops them every single time. And so, eventually Kion heals. He goes through all this therapy, these therapy methods, like learning how to be patient, and all that junk. And he's still going through a lot. His scar is making him lose his confidence, and he has trouble leading. So he messes up a lot during this time. Like, he's trying to lead his Lion Guard, Renee's trying to lead the Night Pride, and they end up getting just entangled a lot and combating each other by mistake. And Renee is just a super bitch to Kion. It's really unfair to him. Like, she's only met him at his worst, and she just keeps putting him down further and further. It's really something if you watch the series. So during this time, during this whole journey, once they're at the Tree of Life and everything, the latter half of Lion King 2 is happening. So the part where Kiara's first hunt happens, like that jump cut to where Kiara's first hunt goes on, the Lion Guard gets sent off to the Tree of Life. That's why, that is their explanation for not being in TLK2. And Kion learns to master the roar. He says, he wants to give the roar back because he doesn't think he can control it anymore, and he thinks that he doesn't need it anymore. So he goes to, I forgot the place. Great job, Minnie. I forgot the place where he needs to go to, but he goes to a place where Ascari, the first Lion Guard leader, learned to master the roar. And he meets Ascari in the clouds. And Ascari teaches him all about the roar. So the roar can do some superpower shit. He can, like, make rocks form in the ground that he can stand on. He can flip rocks into the air and break them. He can cause thunderstorms. He can cause lightning to appear where he wants. He can cause tornadoes. Like, it's some crazy shit, basically. It's some crazy shit. But yeah. So Renee finds out what Kion has been up to, and this is the part where Bro is the Avatar. Yes, he is the Avatar. He can basically control all the elements. So Renee finds out what Kion is up to, and this is the part where I believe that, like, she doesn't actually, like, love Kion, because they make the two get together in the end. There's this moment where Renee finds out that what Ascari was doing on the paintings that were there of Ascari, she finds out what Kion was doing, and she was like, if Kion can learn everything that the roar can do, and the roar were to stay here, and she has this big grin on her face, knowing that she can use this to her advantage. And she goes and tries to find Kion. And so, the villains are still attacking. Mama Binturong eventually joins in on them. And, yeah, Mama Binturong eventually joins in. And they, she actually gets in because she pretends to be a hurt animal while the other villains, chase her. So she gets in and tries to get, like, inside info to help them out. And so the final, like, big battle happens, and Kion shows off everything that he can do with the roar. He makes the villains go away in a giant tornado that he formed with the roar. He makes lightning appear to break the rock, the giant boulder that was pushed in front of the Tree of Life. And I forgot to mention that Queen Janna dies eventually in one of the episodes, and Rhaenys becomes queen, and she's also the leader of the uh-oh. We're not there yet. Okay. I don't know why it blacked out. And yeah. So after all that, Rhaenys like, you know, I could use a king by my side and all that stuff. So she's trying to egg Kion to like stay. And oh man, I didn't mention that. It's okay. So she's trying to egg Kion to stay, and the Lion Guard to stay. Doku. And and so Janja and Jasiri come to the Tree of Life with the help of a cheetah named Azad. Azad is a cheetah character that we meet in one of the episodes where him and Fuli have to race. Yeah, there's that episode. So Janja and Jasiri come and they're like, "Oh, Zira's back," and she and you know, and Kovu and Vitani and are fully grown, and no mention of Nuka, by the way. So on their way back, the later half of TOK2 happens. And on their way back, Kion uses the magic roar for everything. I kid you not. Every minor inconvenience they ran into, he just magic roared it away. I'm so serious. Anyway, besides that little rant, they return to the Pride Lands, seeing that Vitani and her guard of lionesses took their place. No mention of Nuka. For some reason, Simba just thought this was okay. Letting another guard take his son's place while he was on his therapy journey. So they do contests in order to fight for the title of Lion Guard, and it ends up in a tie. And then Vitani calls for a Mashindano. A Mashindano, if you don't know, is in this series at least, is a fight between crocodiles to see who will become the next leader. So that's what Vitani calls for, and Kion's like, "Well, I have the roar, you can't beat me." And Vitani's like, "I don't need the roar, I'm fierce enough to lead the Lion Guard without it." So Kion that makes him realize that the one who is willing to give up the roar can truly master it, is what Ascari said to him. Hey Shay, what's up? Yeah, so Kion basically pussies out of the fight. I like saying he pussied out of the fight, even though they probably would have made him win with the roar, which I think is an unfair advantage. So Kion gives up the roar and the title of Lion Guard leader to Vitani. But Ascari appears before everyone and was like, tells Kion and I forgot the and the guard and the roar are still needed at the Tree of Life. So Kion gets to keep the roar. So both Vitani and Kion have the roar, because the roar is needed at the Tree of Life because that's where it originated. So they go back to the Tree of Life. Kion and Rennie get married, I guess. And that is the end of Lion Guard. That is the entirety, that is the ending of the Lion Guard. So they go back to the Tree of Life, Kion and Rennie get married, and Simba and Nala and Kovu and Kiara and Tifu and Zuri. Forgot to mention Tifu and Zuri. Tifu and Zuri are Kiara's best friends that don't appear in TOK2, by the way. But yeah. That is the end of the Lion Guard. So now I'm going to take a small break and set up my webcam because my phone is dying. And we will get on to what I don't want to talk about next. Thankfully, this is short. This little half is short. But I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I charged my phone for a bit. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last because it's only at 26%, but I could not get my webcam to work. Welcome back, Dragon. Where was Zazu though? Zazu was there some episodes, that's all. Anyway. Let's get back to it. So, Lion King 2019. Thankfully, this slide is short. What else is there to say? Nothing. It is a lifeless or over-glorified tech demo. That is what it is. It's longer than the original because they thought they could squeeze in time for, oh, look at how real this looks. Like, there's the one scene at the beginning where they show the mouse scurrying along the Pride Land, scurrying up a hill, and then we meet Scar. Did not need all that. And then there's another scene where Simba's fur, you know, flies off and it gets caught in poop, and then a dung beetle rolls the ball of poop with Simba's fur in it, and that's how Rafiki gets it. It's ridiculous. It's the same movie, just with hyper-realistic lions. It's CGI. You can see more expression and liveliness from a documentary of actual lions. Yes. Yes, Maxwell, I'm so serious. That is how. That is how Simba gets found out. By Rafiki. They cut the songs. They originally cut Be Prepared because Disney doesn't want to show that they're fascist or something. Or some shit. But yeah. Minor yet significant plot changes. So there's this one, you know, the gorge scene. Scar's plan is dependent on Simba roaring for some reason, when that wasn't the case in the original. And then they have a moment where, well, actually, I'll get to that. They have where Scar and the hyenas don't know each other in the movie. Scar comes to the hyenas afterwards. After, he sends Simba and Nala to go die. Yeah. It sucks. The movie sucks. And it made $1 billion. Movie fucking sucks and it made $1 billion. The songs, they messed up the music so badly. They just messed it up. I don't know how you fuck up such greatness, but Jon Favreau did it. He did it. Then there's the Mufasa movie, and I encourage you to go watch the YMS review, the Your Movie Sucks review. I encourage you to go watch that because he goes into insane detail about everything that got fucked up. So anyway, oh yeah, and the minor yet significant plot changes. They have a moment where Scar is talking to Sarabi, and he's like, "A long time ago, you chose Mufasa over me. Now that Mufasa's gone, why don't you take your place as queen by my side?" And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But in the meantime, Mufasa, the Lion King. Sorry, I meant to say Mufasa, the Lion King. So this is a prequel to the 2019 version. Let me say this again. This movie is a prequel / sequel to the 2019 version of The Lion King. Not the original 1994 one, the 2019 version. Because some people try to apply this logic to old logic. And I hate it so much. Be prepared was like one phrase. Yeah. Yeah, the nostalgia definitely. Yeah, the nostalgia made it $1 billion. But it had Beyonce and Childish Gambino though. Do you think Disney been running out of ideas? All they do is buy shit now. That's all they do is buy shit. Anyway, we're getting to Mufasa, the Lion King. This movie came out a week ago. I was gonna say it, but... So, the plot. So, we were already introduced to Kiara in TOK2. So, Nala runs off and Simba goes to find her, leaving Kiara with Rafiki, Timon, and Pumbaa. Rafiki starts to tell the story of Mufasa to Kiara, and this is where we cut into the past. So Mufasa's parents tell him about a place called Malele, and then suddenly a flood happens. I forgot to say, spoilers for Mufasa. If you're here, spoilers for Mufasa. A flood appears and Mufasa is swept away long away from home. Mufasa meets a cub named Taka. Where have I heard that name before? Taka. Interesting. By the way, Taka means want / desire in Swahili. There's a misconception that Taka means trash. No, it does not. Taka taka means trash. Taka by itself means want. Just wanted to put that out there. So Taka and his mother Eshi save Mufasa from crocodiles. Obasi, which is Taka's father, doesn't accept Mufasa and attempts to kill him. Instead, Eshi convinces him to let Mufasa and Taka race to determine Mufasa's fate. Taka lets Mufasa win, and in the end, Mufasa was raised by the lionesses of Taka's pride, and Taka was raised by the males. It all comes back to Takanashi Kiara. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Mufasa was raised by the lionesses, Taka was raised by the lions. So, as they grow up, there's a song called I Always Wanted a Brother. It's a catchy song, I'll admit. It's probably the better song in the movie. But the chorus is really awkward. It's I always wanted a brother. Like, they drag that out, the brother part out. It sounds really awkward. But yeah. And they grow up and, you know, they play around and stuff. And so, as Eshi was training Mufasa on hunting, and outside a group of white lions, oh my god, Kimba, of white lions attacked, leaving the son of the king of the white lions dead. Mufasa saves Eshi from one of the lions, which was the king's, the white lion king's son, and he pushes him onto a log with a sharp edge, a sharp branch or whatever, and it impales him, basically. So that pisses off the white lions a lot. And so Obasi sends Taka and Mufasa away. To, one, protect the bloodline, aka his bloodline, Obasi's, by finding a new pride and having Taka be king and all that stuff. The White Lions, led by Kyros, attack Obasi's pride, and they quickly follow the brothers and attack. Now, the villain song is ass. The villain song is so ass. I'll make you go bye-bye is how it goes. It's so fucking ass, bro. I hate it. But, yeah, the White Lions, follow Taka and Mufasa, and they attack them. And, Taka pushes them off a waterfall, saving them both, technically. Did I forget to mention that Mufasa has PTSD? He's scared of water because of the flood, so he's scared to get in water. So anytime he goes under, he gets flashbacks. Later that night, the brothers meet Sarabi and Zazu. Look! I mentioned Zazu! Holy shit! I mentioned Zazu! So, Sarabi is a princess from her pride, but her pride was wiped out by the White Lions. Even though a couple of them got away, but she never found them. Meanwhile, Rafiki, this is where we get introduced to Rafiki. Rafiki gets banished from his tree because of his visions, and all the other monkeys think he's crazy and all that shit. The group meets Rafiki because they were hunting him, and they try to eat him, but Rafiki adverts them by saying he's also going to Malele. So Kyros's pride attacks again. This time Sarabi knocks over a beehive to trigger elephants and throw off the outsiders. That is what they call the White Lions in this movie, the Outsiders, not to be confused with the Outsiders from TOK2. Sarabi gets knocked out and Mufasa saves her. When she wakes up, Mufasa tells her that Taka saved her, and Taka has romantic feelings for Sarabi. He's been trying to get advice from Mufasa, saying like, hey, how do I talk to Sarabi? You were raised with the females, how do you talk to girls and all that stuff? Yeah. I'm kind of going through this quickly because I just watched the movie last night to make sure I had it for this stream. So eventually Sarabi figures out that Mufasa was the one that saved her, and they sing a song, fall in love. Taka sees this and feels betrayed. This part was like a complete 180 for Taka's character. It was just so weird and sudden, like you need rest, Taka. Yeah. Mufasa literally gives Taka 2 assists and he fumbles. It's so funny. Okay, so in this, Taka. So feeling betrayed, Taka conspires with the outsiders, betraying Mufasa in return, because he felt betrayed that Mufasa stole his girl, who wasn't his girl in the first place. But yeah. So the group finally makes it to Malele, and the outsiders follow them. And it is revealed, kinda, I mean, it was already revealed before, but Taka leaves scratch marks on rocks to let the outsiders follow them. And somehow, some way, the animals of Malele knew who Mufasa was and knew that the outsiders were coming. And they're like, we don't want you to bring destruction here, we can't trust you and all that stuff. But somehow Mufasa gathers all the animals of Malele to help them fight in a big battle. I don't know how he does it, but he's just got that natural riz, you know. He's just got that natural charm. He had an incel crash out. Yes, he did. Taka had an incel crash out. So the big battle goes on. Mufasa fights Kiros because Kiros wants Mufasa dead, obviously, for killing his son. And in a change of heart, Taka jumps in front of Mufasa as Kiros is attacking him, and he receives his scar. In this version, I don't know, which brings me to this little tangent. In The Lion King 2019, Scar makes this comment saying, "I wouldn't dream of challenging you again," which implied that Mufasa was the one that gave him his scar. Most likely. So why in the ever-living fuck did you not pay attention to that line? Why would you change that line from the original movie and then not even go through with it in the prequel movie? So, an earthquake happens and Pride Rock is formed. I shit you not, they made the origin of Pride Rock. An earthquake happens and a rock splits in half and falls down, and that is how Pride Rock is formed. I don't know why. And then during that earthquake, it pushes them under the water. Here we go with the water PTSD. Under the water, Mufasa continues to fight Kiros until a giant boulder comes in and kills Kiros. Like, it's so funny. It's actually kind of funny how he dies. And then Mufasa's like low-key drowning and Taka pulls him out. And so after all the white lions are defeated, all of the animals bow to Mufasa, claiming him to be king, wanting him to be king of Malele. And Mufasa actually reunites with his mother. His father dies, unfortunately. We don't know how, but his father's dead, but he reunites with his mom. And afterwards, Taka begs for forgiveness. And Mufasa's like, I can never speak your name again. So Taka's like, okay, call me Scar. So that is how he becomes, Scar. Yeah, in this version. So Mufasa goes to the top of Pride Rock. There's a little scene where Taka glares at Mufasa and snarls a little bit, knowing that his destiny was pretty much taken from him, because they were supposed to find a new pride for Taka to be king, but all the animals on Malele want Mufasa to be king. So Mufasa roars, claiming his kingdom, and at the same time, Kiara roars, and Mufasa appears in the clouds. This is where, the story time is ending. And I didn't mention it, but there's a lot of cuts to Timon and Pumbaa and Kiara and Rafiki. There's a lot of cuts to them, and Timon and Pumbaa are actually really fucking annoying in this movie. I don't know how you mess up beloved characters like that, but they cut to them a lot, and they try to make jokes and all that stuff. It doesn't work. So Simba and Nala return, introducing Kiara's new baby brother. And we don't know if it's Kion. We don't know if it's Kopa. We don't know if it's a new son, because Simba needs a third son apparently. And that is where the movie ends, and that is the end of Mufasa. Yay! Scar gets one taste of democratic election and immediately raises a hyena fascist group. Yeah! But anyway, that is the end of Mufasa, and that means... that is the end of my presentation. We finally did it. That is my Lion King lore dump stream. Yeah. So that was like, what, 3 hours long? Almost 4? So, thank you for all the claps. Thank you. I feel like I didn't explain things well enough because I was kind of nervous, but I let loose a little bit. Right in time for Ina's concert! Oh shit! Oh yeah, that was happening at 10. Okay. Yep. Okay, so now we know how he got his scar. Yup. All 3 iterations. Or 4. 4 iterations, I think. Yeah, because there's the director's headcanon, the books, the Lion Guard, and Mufasa. Yup. So, before I go, I have a little message for Oro Crony. Please clip this. I have a message for Oro Crony. Oro Crony, I would like to hear your knowledge on The Lion King now. I know you did a little bit of ranting for like 7 minutes about how Kion and Scar and Mufasa were fuckboys or something like that. But I want to hear your actual knowledge on the Lion King franchise. I need you to watch The Lion Guard in its entirety. I need you to watch all 5/6 movies. I need you to watch the original, 2, 1.5, Return of the Roar, the 2019 version. You don't have to. I wouldn't put that on you. I'm so sorry. And Mufasa. I would like you to have a Lion King lore stream too. Or at least talking about it for a very long time. I challenge you, Oro Crony. Please and thank you. Alright everybody. I gotta go catch Ina's stream. Thank you for hanging out with me for 3 hours. And I will see you guys maybe back on Twitch. So yeah. Have a good night. Bye-bye.